damage A. I'm giving the Elmo a minute. Where we are using for reference the 5 foot 5 inch height of the outermost tallest portion of the bunk bed. Then I'm placing 22 RRR, where it shows, and we've determined that damage A is higher than that 5 feet 5 inch measuring marker of our vantage point right here, the pole that I'm pointing to over on the outermost corner. You've previously testified that the trajectory pole shows a downward trajectory in the photo that we're showing here. And we know 22 LLL, you explained, was also showing a downward trajectory of the pole. Is the measurement in 22 MMM that I'm placing on the Elmo consistent with the trajectory being at a downward angle coming from the wall, damage A1, to the shower curtain, damage A2?
Objection just again, and ask for continuing objection to this witness giving his explanation.
All right. The objections are paroled. You have a continuing objection. This line of questioning.
You can answer.
Yes, it would be consistent with the round still descending or being in a downward trajectory as it is traveling towards what we can pretty easily identify as its terminal point where it's embedded in the wall.
Now we're looking on 22NNN, placing it on the Elmo, where we see damage A3. Next to damage A3, we see a measuring tool. Tell the jury, what is the measurement from the floor, the height of damage A3?
It's between 4'10" and 4'11". 4'10" being kind of the bottom margin of that, where the grout is for that tile, and then 4'11" being the top edge of that damage. And we would expect the actual penetration to be somewhere probably in the middle between 4'10" and 4'11".
Comparing the height of damage A2 that we've determined to be about 5'11" and a half or so.
Or 4'11".
4'11", excuse me. I was looking at the number 5. You're correct. 4'11" of damage A2 and a half or so to the height of damage A3 being slightly below that at 4 foot between 10 and 11. It kind of encompasses the whole inch there. Is that consistent with the trajectory rod that we saw in damage A and A1 to be at a downward angle?
Yes, it's still downward or still descending.
I'm placing on the Elmo 22000. The marker on the wall, is that damage A1?
Yes, ma'am, on the right side wall, in the photograph just above the shower towel holder.
On the shower curtain, is that damage A2?
Yes, ma'am.
And we can kind of see, it looks like there's, over here, there's a cabinet on the wall that's sneaking out right behind the cabinet. It looks like we have another yellow marker that goes into the shower tile. Is that damage A3?
Yes, ma'am.
Explain to the jury the purpose of using the trajectory rod from damage A1 in the bathroom wall to a 2 in the shower curtain to a 3 in the shower tile.
To again show the path of the projectile as it went through the bathroom, or the likely path of the projectile as it's penetrating through the wall, going through the shower curtain, and then embedding in the tile. So this is a fairly accurate representation of what that path would have looked like.
You just used the word the path a few times. What is the path?
The path of the bullet or the projectile as it's going through the wall and then ending up in the other wall.
And what is the path? It's at a what angle?
The path and trajectory is at a downward angle in this instance.
Is this the same pole that we see in 22RRR depicted right above damage A?
Yes, ma'am, it is.
Now, based on your training and your experience and your evaluation of the trajectory rod used in this investigation, what occurred from damage A to damage A1 to damage A2 and to damage A3?
I think this has been asked and answered, Judge. I would object.
Sustained.
I'm placing on the Elmo 22R to reorient us. Are we looking at the top bunk or the bottom bunk?
Top bunk again.
I want to draw your attention to an evidence label entitled Damage B. I'm pointing to it. It's the yellow label that's closest to the bloody mattress. What does that look like to you when you were first there and you first viewed it?
Our belief was that was also a bullet damage or a bullet impact location.
Looking at 22FFF, what are we looking at here? Well, hold on. Let me start out with a larger view of it. And then, what's significant about this damage, specifically when you zoom in?
We believed, again, this is just a zoomed in or a closer up photograph of one of the preceding photographs of the same damage at damage B. We're seeing some blood in that same area, as well as some breaking of the wood on that framework. And towards the right, I would say the right edge of that damage, there's a little bit of rounded shape to that damage that we thought might be consistent with a bullet or a projectile striking that area.
Now, was that damage that's depicted in damage B what sometimes law enforcement would call a through and through, meaning that there's an entrance and an exit?
In terms of a medium before making that impact?
Correct. Like, is there a hole on the other side?
So for this area of wood, no, when we moved that rail away and moved the whole bed away from the wall, we did not see a corresponding hole coming through that piece of wood. So to us, it just looked like a fracture or a damage on the front side of the wood.
Looking at 22XX. Is this another view of the damage that you're talking about?
Yes, ma'am.
I can just have a moment. During your investigation, did you have an occasion to inspect both the top mattress and bottom mattress for places that may be of evidentiary value?
Yes, ma'am, we did that.
Tell us about your inspection of the top bunk mattress.
In this same general vicinity of where we're looking at now, near where the damage B is, we did find a defect or what looks to be a tear or hole in the top fabric material of that same mattress.
In the photo that we're looking at, 22XX, where was the defect that you noticed in the mattress?
It's close to the same area where damage B is, a little bit inset from the mattress, so away from the wall, but where one of the concentrations of blood is located.
Judge, can the witness stand up, please, to identify the area he's discussing?
Yes.
Please stand up and point to it.
It would have been in this upper portion of the mattress, just forward of where damage B is, or just for the purpose where you're viewing it on the television screen, to the left of where damage B is located.
I'm placing 22D on the Elmo. Point to the area so the jury understands of what you're talking about where you noticed a defect in the mattress.
Can you zoom in a little bit, ma'am?
Mm-hmm.
The area defect for this is going to be along or the same area. There's a splitting of kind of the foam in the mattress here, and that's part of where the blood was also, there's a little bit of blood that came through the mattress in that same location.
We're using the term defect, which feels like a more scientific term. In lay terms, what do you mean by the word defect?
A damage to it or a hole that is coming through it, some sort of tear or hole in the fabric.
Could that be seen from the top of the mattress before it's peeled up as we see depicted in this photo?
A little bit, yes. That was where we were initially drawn to the location of the hole or the torn area of the mattress from the top.
So you see this on the top, this torn area, and you decide to peel it up like we see depicted in this photograph, which is 22DDD. After seeing what you see depicted in 22DDD, what did you do next?
Continued to cut through that mattress to try to locate if there was an actual projectile somewhere in the mattress.
I'm placing on the Elmo 22EEE. What are we looking at in 22EEE?
Now we're looking at the same mattress but with the entire top layer peeled back. So now we're looking at the interior spring arrangement of the mattress.
Is what we're looking at what you just described in 22EEE, is this the same mattress depicted in 22DDD where we see it peeled up to reveal the foam?
Yes, ma'am.
Is it the same mattress that we're looking at in 22X, which is the mattress depicted in this photo to be on the top bunk that has blood pooling as staining?
Yes, ma'am.
After peeling back to see the springs in 22EEE, tell the jury what you noticed.
A projectile was located within this space where the springs were.
I'm placing on the Elmo 22FFF. This is significant. Number one, what are we looking at?
We're looking at a zoomed-in picture, kind of a continuation of the previous picture of the spring arrangement.
And I want to draw your and the jury's attention to, it looks like an item that I'm placing my finger to. It's kind of a semicircle portion of an item. What is that item?
That would be a projectile, ma'am, or a bullet.
Is that consistent with the damage or defect that you saw occurred in the foam that you described before?
It could be, yes, ma'am.
22GGG, I'm placing on the Elmo. What are we looking at?
That would be the actual recovered bullet or projectile, just held in a palm.
The recovered bullet or projectile that we're looking at in this photo, is it the same as the projectile that's depicted and that we just pointed out in 22FFF?